They all look the same. Which one am I supposed to buy? Today, we're gonna find that out together. Roll the intro. What's up everyone, it's Chris with the Little Treasury channel. Welcome back. This is where we bring you awesome watch content at least once a week. And if you haven't already, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get alerted as soon as we upload. I'm from Little Treasury Jewelers, which is located in Gambrills, Maryland, and it's where you go when you're in the know. As always, the watches that I review are for sale and can be purchased, so please see the description below to contact us. In our last video, we reviewed the new Oris Aquis Date 400, so please make sure that you check it out if you haven't already seen it, especially if you want possibly the best value for a dive watch on the market. Today I'm going to help answer the age-old question about a watch that most people love and respect. We will look at the Moonwatch, the Sapphire Sandwich, and the First Man in Space to determine which one of these OMEGA Speedmaster Moonwatch versions is the best fit for you. Let's get on to the video. The OMEGA Speedmaster earned the name Moonwatch after Apollo 11, where Neil Armstrong wore a NASA-issued Speedmaster as he took the first step onto the moon, and the hours after while he collected rock samples. The Speedmaster Moonwatch is an icon for many and is one of the most recognizable watches in the industry. Most people would not be opposed to having a Moonwatch in their collection, but they have made many versions. So I will help you navigate the current options. Let's get on to the features. The Sapphire Sandwich and the Moonwatch have the exact same case specs, which is a 42mm width, 14mm thickness, 48mm lug to lug, and 20mm lug width. While the First Man in Space version has a 39.7mm width, 14mm thickness, 48mm lug to lug, and a 19mm lug width, and has a more angular, slimmer case than the other two, which have an inverted, sloping cushion style case. The First Man in Space also has smaller pushers. The bezels on all three watches are the same and are made of steel that has been painted, featuring a tachometer. The good news is that these bezels are very small and will be protected heavily by the case and crystals. The most significant difference between these models is the crystal types. The Moonwatch comes with a hesalite crystal, which is a true to form for what's certified for space because it won't form sharp shards if it gets damaged and potentially cause dangerous projectiles in zero gravity. The benefit of hesalite on Earth is that it has a natural anti-reflective property, and thus you can see the dial even clearer, they say. But you will scratch this crystal rather easily in comparison to the sapphire. The hesalite has a domed, smooth look, which is beautiful. The Sapphire Sandwich and First Man in Space watches both have a box-style sapphire crystal, which has a defined ring around the edges that gives it a totally different look and is obvious if you know what to look for. Sapphire is a much harder material than hesalite and will be extremely hard to scratch. The dials and hands of the Sapphire Sandwich and the Moonwatch are the exact same with two dots on either side of the 12 marker. Professional under the Speedmaster, pencil style hands in white, a 30-minute subdial at the 3, a 12-hour subdial at the 6, and the actual second subdial at the 9. The First Man in Space is very similar, but has only Speedmaster and no Professional at the top, slightly longer markers, and a different set of hands in high polish instead of white for the hour, minute, and seconds, but all white on the chronograph hands, which actually makes for a nice differentiation. The dial is a bold varnish black, which is a bolder black than the other two. All three watches look mostly the same lume-wise and have lume on the markers, the hour, minute, and chronoseconds. The case backs are closed on the Moonwatch and the First Man in Space, while the Sapphire Sandwich has a sapphire crystal and shows off that 1863 movement. The Moonwatch and First Man in Space both use the 1861 movement. While the 1861 caliber has been only used since 1996, it is a rhodium-plated and one additional jewel-added version of the 861, which dates back to 1968. So it is actually pretty close to the original. Although the 321 movement was the first Speedmaster movement. In the Sapphire Sandwich, you'll find the 1863 movement, which is the same as the 1861, but it's more decorated and features circular graining on the base plate, bridges, and has Geneva stripes, which is geared towards the display case back. These movements are accurate to losing 1 to gaining 11 seconds a day, have a 48-hour power reserve, and beat at 21,600 beats per hour. None of these movements hack and are manual wind only. The Moonwatch and Sapphire Sandwich both use the same 5-link style bracelet with a fold-over clasp and do come with 2 NATO straps as well, while the First Man in Space only comes with a basic brown leather strap with white stitching and a tang buckle. All 3 of these pieces are 50-meter water resistant, very robust, enough to go to the moon, enough to go to space, for a wonderful $5,350 for the Moonwatch, $5,300 for the First Man in Space, and $6,350 for the Sapphire Sandwich. Now for my humble opinion. Which one of these is for you? The First Man in Space is the oddball here, and most people will overlook it. And really, I think the only reason to get this one is if you're really conscious about the case size and feel that the other 2 are just too big for you. That is the only reason that I can comprehend to pick this one up, especially since the strap they give you doesn't even have a deployment. The only reason that it stays in this price point is because it has a sapphire crystal. So I think that if you were on a budget and dislike hesalite, maybe this would be a good option. Most people compare the Moonwatch and Sapphire Sandwich, and really, I think this boils down to a few things. Firstly, are you a purist that just wants a true to form watch? If so, go with the Moonwatch, because that is how the watch has been configured historically. The hesalite crystal also does have a sexy, smooth, domed look to it, which reminds me of an astronaut's helmet, and might be clear when you look at the dial, but I think that's subjective really. The truth is though, while the Moonwatch looks wonderful right now when you picked it up, the crystal will scratch, which can be fixed eventually if you need to with Polywatch to some extent. The Sapphire Sandwich is really the premium option and is the one that will hold up for many years without a crystal replacement. You get everything that you get with the Moonwatch, which is a great bracelet and 2 NATO straps, and of course a beautiful display case back, which is a pleasure to look at. So to conclude, I would say that the Sapphire Sandwich should really win here. Although it is a bit more, the added features that the other 2 just don't have, such as a decorated movement with a display case back, combined with a sapphire crystal, make this piece the one that I would choose. But let me know in the comments which one you would choose. Thanks for watching today, everyone. I hope you really liked the content, and if you did, please make sure to hit the like button and of course subscribe. Let's see what your comments say about these watches, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next video.